everyone! Welcome to my channel. This is video 5 from my challenge to you to learn 400 advanced English words. How can you consider yourself a fluent English speaker unless you know at least 70% of the words from today's lesson? Most native English speakers use them as part of their vocabulary. What about you? How many words do you know? Check it out now. Let's learn 40 more advanced English words so that you can expand your vocabulary and feel more confident and more fluent when you're speaking English. Let's get started with our list of words. The word number 1 is the word ingrained. Ingrained. We use this word of beliefs which are so firmly held that they're not likely to change. For example, these attitudes are deeply ingrained in the culture. Such ingrained prejudices cannot be corrected easily. The belief that you should own your car is deeply ingrained in our society. The word number 2, to ostracize. To ostracize means to exclude from a society or group, to avoid someone intentionally, or to prevent someone from taking part in the activities of a group. If someone is ostracized, people deliberately behave in an unfriendly way toward them and do not allow them to take part in any of their social activities. For example, she claims she's being ostracized by some members of her local community. His colleagues ostracized him after he criticized the company in public. She was declared a witch and ostracized by the villagers. The word number 3 is the word to align with. To align with means to bring into cooperation or agreement with a particular group, party, cause, etc. It means to come together in agreement or alliance. For example, the schools had to align their programs with state requirements. This policy is closely aligned with the goals of the organization. All of them must now align against the foe. Domestic prices have been aligned with those in world markets. Please note that we also use the expression to align oneself with, which means to give support to a person, organization, a cause, etc. It means to live in alignment with one's values, goals, etc. For example, newspapers usually align themselves with certain political parties. If you want to achieve your dreams, you need to align yourself with your goals. Take heed. We also use the expression to be in alignment with. When all aspects of something or someone are in harmony and functioning well, we say that they are in alignment with. It means to be in alignment with your best self, which implies that all aspects of yourself are in harmony and functioning well. When all aspects of yourself are operating to serve your highest good, you are in alignment. For example, you must be in alignment with your best self to achieve what you want or create the life you want. The word number 4, outlook. Outlook is a person's point of view or general attitude to life. It can also be a view from a particular place, and it can also be a belief about the future. Let me give you some examples. He has a positive outlook on life. From the tower, the outlook over the city was breathtaking. The house has a pleasant outlook over the valley. The economic outlook is one of rising unemployment. The word number 5 is the word to stem from. To stem from means to develop as a result of something else. For example, her problems stem from her difficult childhood. Their disagreement stemmed from a misunderstanding. His love of the outdoors stems from his father. His health problems stem from an accident he had when he was younger. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 6 is the word to confront. To confront means to face, meet, or deal with a difficult situation or person. It means to deal with a problem or difficult situation. For example, he confronted his illness with bravery. It takes courage to confront your fears. They need to confront these problems before it's too late. She confronted the robbers as they were trying to leave. The word number 7 is the word to fulfill. To fulfill has several meanings. First of all, it means to do or achieve what you hoped for or expected. It means, for example, to fulfill a dream, ambition, potential. It can also mean to do or have what is required or necessary, to fulfill a duty or an obligation, a promise, needs, requirements, expectations, etc. And it also means to make someone feel happy. For example, he has a lot of talent, but he hasn't really fulfilled his potential. The program is intended to fulfill the basic needs of children in the community. Life is not too short to enable us to fulfill our dreams. Being a wife and mother doesn't really fulfill her. Please note that we also use the noun fulfillment. Fulfillment is a feeling of pleasure and satisfaction because you are happy with your life. It is the act of doing something that you have promised or intended to do. For example, wisdom will help you find fulfillment in every aspect of your life. He said that owning his own company was the fulfillment of a dream. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 8, to violate. To violate means to upset or not respect somebody's peace, privacy, etc. It can also mean to break or fail to comply with a rule or formal agreement. For example, these journalists were violating her family's privacy. The peace of this island community has been repeatedly violated. They violated the ceasefire agreement. They denied that human rights were being violated. Please note that we also use the noun violation. Violation is the act of not respecting somebody's rights, peace, privacy, etc. It is the act of refusing to obey a law, an agreement, etc. A violation can be a disrespectful act or the crossing of someone's physical boundaries. Violation is often used to describe an action that disregards an agreement or a basic right, such as a violation of a global climate treaty or a human rights violation. For instance, he's claiming that his detention by the police was a violation of his human rights. The black market for body organs is a violation of human dignity. The word number 9 is the word inadequate. Inadequate means not adequate, not good enough, not sufficient. This term is also used of people when it means not able, not capable, or not confident enough to deal with a situation. For example, supplies of food and medicine are inadequate. He felt quite painfully inadequate in the crisis. Our equipment is inadequate for this job. She felt totally inadequate as a parent. The word number 10, insignificant. Insignificant means small or not noticeable, and therefore not considered important, not important or thought to be valuable. When insignificant is used of people, it means without power or influence. For example, looking up at the stars always makes me feel so small and insignificant. Her problems seemed pretty insignificant compared to her brothers. They paid me an insignificant sum of money. Never believe that you are too insignificant to make a difference. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 11 is the word to entangle. To entangle means to trap someone or something within something else from which it is difficult to escape. For example, the young runaway gradually became entangled in a web of lies. Please note that we also use the noun entanglement. Entanglement is the condition of being deeply involved, usually in a complicated or difficult relationship or situation. For example, their entanglement in politics came as no surprise to anyone. And we also use the expression to disentangle something or someone from something, which means to separate things that have become joined or confused. It also means to separate different ideas or pieces of information that have become confused together. And it can mean to free someone or something from something that has become wrapped or twisted around it or them. For example, if you disentangle something or someone from an undesirable thing or situation, you separate them from that thing or remove them from that situation. For example, the first thing they must do is disentangle themselves from the past. The bird could not disentangle itself from the net. It's very difficult to disentangle fact from fiction in what she's saying. He tried to disentangle the wires under his desk. Let's go on to the next word. The word number 12 is the word to collaborate. To collaborate means to work together, especially on a goal or shared project. It means to work with someone else for a special purpose. Let me give you some examples. The two writers collaborated on the script for the movie. The two musicians, who usually have different styles, collaborated on the groundbreaking new album. Researchers are collaborating to develop a new vaccine. Please note that we also use the noun collaboration. Collaboration is the act of working together, especially on a goal or shared project. For instance, this project would not have happened without close collaboration between all the departments. The new single is a collaboration from the two pop stars. Let's continue with our list of words. The word number 13 is the word to refrain from. To refrain from means to stop yourself from doing something, to avoid doing something, or to abstain from an impulse to say or do something. For example, please refrain from talking during the lecture. I refrained from telling him what I thought. He refrained from hitting him back. All passengers must refrain from smoking during the flight. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 14 is the word to succumb to. To succumb to means to fail to resist pressure, temptation, or some other negative force. It means to lose the determination to oppose something, to accept defeat. If you succumb to temptation or pressure, you do something that you want to do or that other people want you to do, although you feel it might be wrong. Let me give you some examples. We cannot merely give up and succumb to despair. She succumbed to temptation and had a piece of cheesecake. He finally succumbed to Amy's charms and agreed to her request. Young people who feel good about themselves are less likely to succumb to negative pressure. Let's proceed with our lesson. And the next word on the list is the word to cultivate. To cultivate means to prepare land and grow crops on it, or to grow a particular crop. But this word also has some other meanings. It can also mean to try to improve something, to develop an attitude, a way of talking or behaving, etc. Or it can also mean to cultivate a relationship, to make a special effort to develop it because you think it might be useful to you. For instance, farmers have cultivated a variety of crops in this region. Try to cultivate a positive mental attitude. She cultivated an air of sophistication. The president is cultivating relationships with East Asian countries. The word number 16 is the word to negotiate. To negotiate means to try to reach an agreement by formal discussion, to try to work out an agreement between parties that each want something out of the deal. For example, she has managed to negotiate a 10% pay increase with her boss. He negotiated an important business deal. The government will not negotiate with terrorists. The two sides have yet to show their willingness to negotiate. Please note that we also use the noun negotiation. Negotiation is a discussion aimed at reaching an agreement. For instance, the terms of the contract are still open to negotiation. The agreement was reached after a series of negotiations. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 17 is the word batter. Batter means to subject one's spouse, partner, or child to repeated violence. To batter someone means to hit them many times using fists or a heavy object. And it also means to subject to strong, overwhelming, or repeated attack. For example, the loss of his baby turned him into a domineering bully who battered his wife. Their confidence was battered by a series of losses. Let's continue with our list of words. The word number 18 is the word assault. Assault is a sudden, violent attack on someone. For example, university officials are concerned about a series of assaults on students near the campus. Please note that we use the same word as a verb as well. To assault means to make a sudden, violent attack on someone. For example, the gang assaulted him with iron bars. The word number 19 is the word to discriminate against someone or in favor of someone, which means to treat someone unfairly because of their religion, race, gender, or other personal features. For example, it is illegal to discriminate on the grounds of race, gender, or religion. There are still practices that discriminate against women and in favor of men. Take heed, we also use the noun discrimination. Discrimination is the unjust treatment of different categories of people, especially on the grounds of race, age, gender, or disability. For instance, the law prohibits discrimination against the disabled. He sued the company for age discrimination. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 20 is the word diversity. Diversity is the inclusion of people of different races, genders, religions, ethnicities, etc. in a group. It also means appreciating the cultural differences between race, ethnic, and gender groups. Diversity is about empowering people by respecting and appreciating what makes them different. And diversity can also mean a range of different things, a variety. For example, reducing social inequality and promoting diversity in workplaces have been government aims for many years. Newspapers are obliged to allow a diversity of views to be printed. Please note that we also use the adjective diverse, which means very different from each other and of various kinds. For example, people from diverse cultures were invited to the event. Their attitudes were refreshingly diverse. We're such a rich and diverse society, and we need to embrace it. There is a diverse range of opinion on the issue. The word number 21 is the word to assume. To assume means to accept that something is true, but without having proof of it. Let me give you some examples. I assumed that nobody was home because the car wasn't in the driveway. If the package is wrapped well, we assume the contents are also wonderful. Please note that we also use the noun assumption. Assumption is a belief or feeling that something is true or that something will happen, although there is no proof. Something that you accept as true without question or proof. For example, they tend to make assumptions about their staff's ability based on very little evidence. People tend to make assumptions about you based on your appearance. There is an assumption that all the people who live around here are rich. There is a general but false assumption that intelligent people do better in life. Let's continue with our list of words, and the next word on the list is the word combat. Combat is a fight between two people or things. For example, the movie explores the combat between good and evil. Please note that we use the same word as a verb as well. Only pronunciation is different. We say to combat. To combat means to fight or contend against, to strive to reduce or eliminate, to try to stop something unpleasant or harmful from happening or increasing. For example, we can combat crime, terrorism, inflation, disease, etc. It means to oppose vigorously. Let me give you some examples. Exercise can help combat the effects of stress. The drug helps combat infection. The government is spending millions of dollars in its attempt to combat crime. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 23 is the word commodity. Commodity is a product or a raw material that can be bought and sold. It is a thing that is useful and has a useful quality. For example, oil is the world's most important commodity. Water is a precious commodity that is often taken for granted in the West. Time is a valuable commodity. People are not to be treated as commodities owned and used at will. Let's proceed with our list of words. The word number 24 is the word to outgrow. To outgrow means to grow too mature for something. It means to stop doing something or lose interest in something as you become older. If you outgrow a particular way of behaving or thinking, You change and become more mature so that you no longer behave or think in that way. For example, she outgrew her youthful idealism and childish habits. He outgrew his shyness, but the insecurity remained. Let's go on to the next word. The word number 25 is the word phenomenon. Phenomenon is an observable fact or event, especially something that is unusual or difficult to understand or explain. And this word also means someone or something special, especially because it is completely different or extremely unusual. Please note that the plural of this word is phenomena. Let me give you some examples. Gravity is a natural phenomenon. Glaciers are interesting natural phenomena. He was a kind of phenomenon, an actor running for president. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 26 is the word boundary. Boundary is a real or imagined line that marks the edge or limit of something. But it can also be the limit of what someone considers to be acceptable behavior. For example, the Ural Mountains mark the boundary between Europe and Asia. Those two trees mark the boundary of our property. Parents need to set boundaries with their children. She needed to move on with her life, redefine her boundaries, she said. It is up to the teacher to set a boundary between acceptable and unacceptable behavior. The word number 27 is the word to embrace. To embrace means to accept something with great interest and enthusiasm. It means to completely accept something such as a new belief, idea, or way of life. But it also means to hold someone tightly with both arms to express love, liking, or sympathy, or when greeting or leaving someone. For instance, they embraced each other before saying goodbye. She embraced the opportunity to study further. Most countries have enthusiastically embraced the concept of high-speed railways. They hope these regions will embrace democratic reforms. Please note that we use the same word as a noun as well. It means the act of holding someone tightly with both arms to express love, liking, or sympathy, or when greeting or leaving someone. For example, they greeted each other with a warm embrace. The word number 28 is the word prosperity. Prosperity is the state of being successful and having a lot of money. It is a situation in which people are successful and have a lot of money. The word with a similar meaning is the word well-being. Well-being is the state of being happy, healthy, or prosperous. It is the satisfactory state that someone or something should be in, that involves such things as being happy, healthy, and safe, and having enough money. Well-being is something sought by just about everyone because it includes so many positive things: feeling happy, healthy, socially connected, and purposeful. Let me give you some examples. Our future prosperity depends on economic growth. A country's future prosperity depends upon the quality of education of its people. The company looks after the well-being of its employees. Please note that we also use the adjective prosperous. Prosperous means successful, usually by earning a lot of money. For example, he has developed a prosperous business. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 29 is the word to suppress. To suppress means to prevent yourself from having or expressing a feeling or an emotion. It also means to prevent something from being seen or expressed or from operating. For example, his feelings of resentment and anger have been suppressed for years. She struggled to suppress her feelings of jealousy. It's bad to suppress your feelings. The rebellion was brutally suppressed. The police were accused of suppressing vital evidence. The word number 30 is the word to chastise. To chastise means to punish or criticize someone strongly. If you chastise someone, you speak to them angrily or punish them for something wrong that they have done. For example, economists like to chastise the public for not saving. Parents are no longer allowed to chastise their children as they did in the past. The coach is always chastising the players for minor mistakes. She chastised him for his insensitive remarks. The word number 31 is the word to denounce. To denounce means to condemn openly as being wrong or deserving rebuke. It means to publicly declare to be wrong or evil, to criticize someone or something severely in public. For instance, we must denounce injustice and oppression. The leaders took the opportunity to denounce the attacks. The government denounced the use of violence. Let's move on to the next word. The word number 32 is the word to undermine. To undermine means to make something or someone become gradually less effective, confident, or successful. To deliberately say or do things that make someone appear less impressive or less important. If you undermine someone or undermine their position or authority, you make their authority or position less secure, often by indirect methods. For example, you can undermine someone's confidence, authority, position, credibility, etc. Let me give you some examples. The constant criticism was beginning to undermine her confidence. They undermined him and destroyed his confidence in his own talent. They've been trying to undermine her position by spreading rumors about her. The incompetence and arrogance of the city's administration have undermined public confidence in government. The word number 33 is the word fundamental. Fundamental is something that is serving as or being an essential part of something, a foundation or basis, the most important thing on which other things depend. For example, we shall have to make some fundamental changes in the way we do business. A fair justice system is a fundamental part of a civilized society. The Constitution ensures our fundamental rights. On this question, the two leaders have fundamental differences. Let's continue with our list of words. And the next word on the list is the word competent. To be competent means to have enough skill or knowledge to do something well, or to the necessary standard. It means to be properly qualified. If you are competent to do something, you have the skills, abilities, or experience necessary to do it well. For instance, he is perfectly competent to manage the bank branch. She is highly competent at her job. Most adults don't feel competent to deal with a medical emergency. The word number 35 is the word reluctant. Reluctant means not willing to do something and therefore slow to do it, unwilling and hesitant. For example, many parents feel reluctant to talk openly with their children. She had trouble sleeping but was reluctant to take sleeping pills. Please note that we also use the adverb reluctantly, which means in an unwilling and hesitant way. For instance, he reluctantly resigned from his job. They reluctantly allowed her to act in the play. Take heed, we also use the noun reluctance. Reluctance is a feeling of being unwilling to do something or of wishing that you did not have to do it. It is an unwillingness to do something. For instance, her reluctance to talk to the press was quite understandable. The reluctance of either side to compromise means that the talks are doomed to fail. Let's move on to the next word, the word number 36, to evaluate. To evaluate means to think carefully about something before making a judgment about its value, importance, or quality, to assess something. For instance, the performance of each employee is evaluated once a year. Candidates are evaluated on their ability to think independently. It can be difficult to evaluate the effectiveness of different treatments. The market situation is difficult to evaluate. Please note that we also use the noun evaluation. Evaluation is careful thought about something before making a judgment about its value, importance, or quality. It is the process of judging, something, or someone based on a set of standards. It is an assessment. Let me give you some examples. We thank our reviewers for their critical evaluation of the article. No curriculum evaluation is complete without investigating what is taught in the classroom. They took some samples of products for evaluation. The word number 37 is the word to aspire. To aspire means to direct one's hopes or ambitions toward achieving something, to seek to attain or accomplish a particular goal, to have a strong desire to achieve or to become something. For example, aspire to great deeds and you have a better chance of doing good deeds. He aspired to a scientific career. She aspired to be their next leader. Please note that we also use the adjective aspiring. Aspiring means directing one's hopes or ambitions toward becoming a specified type of person, someone who is trying to become a successful actor, politician, writer, etc. For example, writing a business plan is an essential exercise for aspiring entrepreneurs. Aspiring musicians need hours of practice every day. Aspiring writers and poets are always standing in their work, but very little of it gets published. Take heed, we also use the noun aspiration. Aspiration is something that you hope to achieve. For example, he has no political aspirations. When he was 10, he had aspirations to play professional football. The word number 38 is the word to attribute something to something, which means to believe that something is the result of a particular situation, event, or person's actions. If you attribute something to an event or situation, you think that it was caused by that event or situation. For example, she attributes her success to hard work and a little luck. Her teachers attributed her learning difficulties to emotional problems. He attributed his illness to the cold weather. The word number 39 is the word counterpart. Counterpart is a person or thing that has the same position or function as someone or something else in a different place or situation. For example, the foreign minister held talks with his Chinese counterpart. Assertive women were still paid less than all male counterparts. And the word number 40 is the word to appoint. To appoint means to choose someone officially for a job or responsibility. And it also means to arrange a date or time when a meeting or other event will happen. For example, the truth is that they appoint only a small number of women to managerial jobs. A commission has just been appointed to investigate fraud claims. A date has been appointed for the election. Please note that we also use the noun appointment. Appointment is a formal arrangement to meet or visit someone at a particular time and place. For example, she has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. If they want to see me, tell them to arrange or schedule an appointment. And we're done with a list of new words for this lesson. If you haven't noticed by now, please note that I cover a wide range of appealing subjects in my videos. Not only do I present to you a list of new words in each new video, but I also deal with a variety of topics. I also expect you to do your part and complete the exercise that I prepared for you. This interactive approach should help you pick up new words effortlessly. Today, our topic is discrimination against women and women's rights. What do you think about this controversial topic? Now it's your turn. Grab your pen and paper, pause the video, read the following text carefully, and fill in the gaps with the most appropriate words from today's lesson. Please note that I also give you some hints in the brackets to help you complete this exercise successfully. So, let's get started. The time is up. Have you filled in all the gaps? Let's check out the answers. Here are the correct answers. Number 1, fundamental. Number 2, denounced. Number 3, harassment. Number 4, competent. Number 5, attributed. Number 6, discriminated. Number 7, are appointed to. Number 8, counterparts. Number 9, reluctance. Number 10, evaluated. 11, aspire. 12, discrimination. 13, stem from. 14, inadequate. 15, insignificant. 16, chastised. 17, ostracized. 18, to disentangle. 19, phenomenon. 20, issues. 21, are exploiting. 22, preying on. 23, violations. 24, assault. 25, to refrain from. 26, batter. 27, to confront. 28, succumb to. 29, to suppress. 30, boundaries. 31, align with. 32, cultivating. 33, to combat. 34, fulfills. 35, outgrow. 36, assumptions. 37, ingrained. 38, undermine. 39, commodities. 40, to embrace. 41, diversity. 42, to negotiate. 43, to collaborate. 44, outlook. 45, well-being. And 46, prosperity. And now tell me, what's your score? How many correct answers do you have? Let me know in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this content, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And stay tuned for more amazing content. See you soon and take care.